Well, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us today. We took this opportunity to get together a few of the residents and a few of the business people that are concerned about the regulations that are surrounding the medical marijuana ordinance that is scheduled, I think, for some official clearance by the City Council this next week. The real purpose of our being here today is to ask the City Council once more to please declare a moratorium until we can have the opportunity to do a few of the things that are really going to be necessary in order to protect the patients who, first of all, this ordinance was to protect, to be able to use marijuana as a medical substitute, and secondly, to be able to protect the residents of the communities that are involved as it currently stands. There's, during the past week, or 2-3 weeks, there have been several new proposals that have been given to the City Council regarding the ordinance of the dispensaries that are scattered around the city. And we think that it's important that the City Council grant that moratorium in order to be able to look at what really a lot of the things that need to be done that perhaps hadn't been considered before. We don't have the rules that are necessary for the city to be able to maintain any regulations over what's going on. And really, when you stop to look at it, is it right that the City of Lansing has 48 medical marijuana stores, but we only have 27 registered pharmacies? Do we really need that many marijuana dispensaries to take care of the people who have a valid need? The second thing is, if you look around at what's happened to most of the cities around us, they've put together a lot tighter regulations. You know, the East Lansing, what's happened in East Lansing, what's happening in other areas. And they will admit that it was voted in by the people of the state, but the harder they make it for people to buy marijuana in their stores drives them somewhere else, and it's really going to drive us right here. And some people mistakenly have wanted to make a claim that maybe we could be proclaimed to be the little Amsterdam, or somebody even went so far as to call it Lanterdam. I was in Amsterdam on Monday, and I can guarantee you we don't want this city to look like Amsterdam. First of all, marijuana is illegal in Amsterdam, even though it's notorious to be there. But you know, these are some of the misconceptions that are going on, the things that we don't want to happen to the city. We're worried about the 48 stores. We're really worried too about the 12 stores that are between the state capitol and the university. And some of you who've been around in this community for a while know how long it took us, 2 decades, to get this new facade here and to start to really revitalize this main corridor between the state capitol and one of the nation's top universities. And sticking 12 marijuana stores in and then expecting other business people to come in and try to sandwich between them with other businesses is just not going to work. I think the 3 things that we're most concerned that the City Council look at as part of the regulation is, one, that we have a licensing board. We have licensing boards for everything else. Why don't the City Council institute a licensing board for the people who want to legitimately sell marijuana for pharmaceutical purposes? The second is we need product tracking. You know, there's a lot of danger in the kind of stuff that's being made and sold to people that have a legitimate need. Shouldn't that be in a package that's identified in such a way that if it becomes a problem, it can be tracked back to where it came from? And then the third one is improved record keeping. You know, you can have a card and buy marijuana all over this town as often as you want to, and probably as much as you want to. And there are no records that are being kept, no way to track back, no way to know whether these are legitimate sales or not. It seems only right that this regulation ought to have some provision for some tracking. Drive-throughs, do we really need to have drive-throughs for medical marijuana stores? And you know, some are claiming they have to be open 24 hours a day in order to serve their purpose. Well, our pharmacies are not open 24 hours a day. You know, do we really need to have 24-hour-a-day curbside service in order to take care of the people who have a need for medical marijuana? There are some other people who want to talk about their concerns. You know, I will say to you that I had people in town this week, the first of the week, from 6 countries, and as they travel the corridor from the Radisson to our office buildings, I was embarrassed for the medical marijuana signs that are scattered along the street, and I think they were embarrassed for us as they see what's happened here. So this is a gateway. It is important that this be, that we put our front, as someone said, the front porch to the state right here, that we keep it nice and we keep it neat and we keep it looking good. I think it's also important that the city council remember that, or they stop to think that the state legislature reported out of the Senate Judiciary Committee, I think on Monday, 2 new pieces of legislation dealing with medical marijuana. Those are to be voted on, I think, by the full Senate, then on when it gets a calendar. But you know, why do we want to rush ahead to set an ordinance when we're apt to get state legislation that might make that ordinance out of date? So it would only seem reasonable that the city council should grant the people's request for a continued moratorium.